Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are making a simple crochet star that's perfect for beginners. Just a heads up, this star does tend to naturally curl up, so make sure you're not making the stitches too tight, but also the start might be best if you can secure it down, like making it the middle of a granny square. I'll walk you through every step slowly, so I do apologize in advance if I am going too slow. And enough said, let's get started. For this tutorial, we'll need the following materials. Yarn, I am using 100% acrylic medium weight yarn. A crochet hook. This is a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Yarn needle. Scissors, and then this is optional, but a stitch marker or paper clips if you don't have stitch markers. First, we'll start with a magic ring. Hold the tail end of the yarn with your 2 fingers like this, and take the working end of the yarn and wrap it around your index and middle fingers like so. And as you're wrapping the yarn around your fingers, flip your hand over and crisscross the yarn on top like this. You can use your pinky to grab a hold of your yarn. Now take your hook and insert it under the strand on the right and above the strand on the left. Use your hook to grab a hold of the yarn on the left and pull it under the yarn on the right, slowly. Twist your hook so it's facing up and pull your hook up slightly. At this point, you have already made your magic ring, which is essentially just a loose slip knot, but I also chain one right after so I can secure the magic ring. And to do that, take your hook and place it under the yarn that you're holding with your pinky, and grab a hold of that yarn and pull it through the loop on your hook. And you've just made a chain 1 on top of your magic ring. Next, we are going to make 2 more chains for a total of 3 chains. And to make a chain, yarn over and pull that yarn through the loop on your hook. Now you have 3 chains, which is the same height as a double crochet, so this will count as our first double crochet. I would like to mention here that there are different opinions on whether a chain 2 or chain 3 is equivalent to a double crochet, so you might hear different things in different tutorials, but it's really a personal preference, and honestly, I just switch between chain 2 and chain 3 myself, depending on the project. Okay, back to our project. If you are a beginner, please use a stitch marker or a paper clip to mark this 3rd chain. This will help you find the right stitch later in the project. Now take the stitch marker and then you find the 3rd chain and insert the stitch marker into this top loop right here. Now we're going to crochet 14 double crochets into the center of the ring. And to double crochet, you would yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, and pull that yarn through the magic ring. You'll now have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now you can see you have 2 loops on your hook, so yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. And you've just made a double crochet. Let's practice making another one together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull your hook through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull your hook through the last 2 loops. And we've just made another double crochet. Since we've already made 2 double crochets together, please make 12 more double crochets on your own. So at this point, you can pause the video and come back when you're done. Welcome back. So at this point, I assume you are done making all your double crochets, but as beginners, I highly recommend you counting your stitches before moving on. So let's count our stitches together. Turn your work to the side and you will see all these little V's here. Each V represents one stitch. Let's count these stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 14 double crochets. And at the end of the row, you have your stitch marker here that marks the chain 3, and that's our 15th stitch. So you should have 15 stitches in total, 14 double crochets, plus the chain 3 that counts as one stitch. At this point, we're almost done with round 1. You just have to pull the yarn tail to close the ring, and then slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 to join the round. And to slip stitch, let's remove this stitch marker here first. And don't forget that stitch. Insert your hook into that top loop of that third chain we just had our stitch marker in. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the chain and then through the loop already on your hook. Make sure it's tight. And you're done with round 1. Now let's begin making the points of our star. And I'll demonstrate how to make the first point. So we'll start with chain 5, but make sure your chains are not too tight here. You can see how I am purposely making this loop a little bit bigger. Okay, we have our chain 5. Next, skip this first chain from your hook, and in the second chain, make a single crochet. And to make a single crochet, simply take your hook and insert it into the top loop of your second chain. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You will now have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both of those 2 loops. And you've just made a single crochet. Next, in the adjacent chain, the third chain, make a half double crochet. And to make a half double crochet, loop your yarn around your hook once, insert your hook into the top loop of your third chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops of your hook. And that's a half double crochet. In the next chain, which is the 4th chain, make a double crochet. Yarn over once, insert your hook into the top loop of the 4th chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops of your hook. Yarn over again and pull through that final 2 loops of your hook. Now in the final and 5th chain, we will make a treble crochet. To make a treble crochet, loop the yarn around your hook twice, once and twice. Now take your hook and insert it into the top loop of the 5th and final chain. Yarn over and pull up a loop. And now you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops on your hook. Finally, yarn over for a 3rd time and pull through the remaining 2 loops on your hook. At this point, use a stitch marker to mark that first stitch we were working out of, where we chained 5. We just need to attach it to the body of the star. And to do that, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So we are skipping this stitch, and we're inserting into that 3rd stitch. So we'll do a slip stitch into this 3rd stitch To slip stitch into this third stitch, which is a double crochet, make sure you insert your hook under this entire V, not just the front or back loop. Yarn over and pull through that stitch. Now pull through the loop on your hook as well. And you've just attached your point to the base of the star with a slip stitch. And you've just finished the first point of the star, so let's do another point together to review. So the first thing after that slip stitch is to chain 5 and make sure they are loose chains. Skip this first chain, and in the second chain, let's make a single crochet. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Next, make a half double crochet into the third chain. Wrap yarn around your hook once, insert your hook into the third chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Next, make a double crochet into the 4th chain. So wrap the yarn around your hook once, insert your hook into the 4th chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and now yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. In the 5th and final chain, we make a treble crochet. Wrap the yarn around your hook twice, and insert your hook into the 5th chain. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops. Yarn over for a final time and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Secure your point to the base of the star by skipping 2 stitches and slip stitching into this 3rd stitch. Now that we've made our second point together, we still need to make 3 more points, so I'll leave that to you. At this point, please pause the video to finish up the star by completing the 3 final points on your own, and then come back here before you do your final slip stitch to secure this final point. Welcome back. We are just about to attach this final point to the base of the star. As always, we are going to skip 2 stitches and then insert into the 3rd stitch, which we have marked here with our stitch marker, so just make sure you slip stitch into that stitch right there. Remove your stitch marker and then slip stitch into that stitch there. Make sure you don't pull too hard because you don't want that hole to be too big. And now you're done with your star, so we want to make sure we pull out the yarn a little bit, cut off the yarn, and we're going to sew in the loose ends. And we are going to cut off these loose ends. And finally, you are done with your star. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you did, please consider giving it a like or subscribing to my channel. I'll see you guys next time.